And then he tells me later, like, yeah, so he kind of got into computer programming, so he's working on a lot of programming stuff. I'm like, all right, well, that's pretty cool. And then now I'm hearing like he's getting, you know, six-figure offers from like Google and other like, you know, uh, tech companies to do shit, all because he's just been sitting in his room coding his ass off. So I think right now, in terms of just pure musculature, I think I'd be capable of like, probably pretty high, maybe 600, 650. Hard to say, but I can almost guarantee I'm gonna, snap my spine in half or like, pull my hip. But we got some other kind of moments in there too. I'm kind of excited to rewatch those because I guess in a way I already kind of saw it because I was there, but no, this is not like me saying my own story. Like this is stuff that I've seen before, and it's like you got to go up to your parents and they're just like yelling at you. Like that's just not it's not a form of motivation, you know. You know? So the only times that I see people really kill it, and not just in person, but like in videos on social media, whatever, it's usually just when it's people doing it because they want to. It doesn't matter what that's in. Like, oh, if you get really good at anything, you're kind of just gonna see a whole new world open up to you. And I'm not even saying that from experience. I'm saying like, one of my friends, he used to tell me, he'd be just, if you can do something which is going to make you have a good workout, or sort of work around a little bit of tenderness or soreness or whatever you're dealing with. For me, the seated bike, for one thing, is just kind of the easiest for me. I like it the most because something like a Stairmaster or a stair stepper, it's a very intense movement. Like you're doing a lot of actual physical work because you're. The whole idea of cardio is just doing something, and it could be anything. You don't have to sit on the bike and pedal. You'd be playing basketball, whatever. You'd kind of want to have a heart monitor or something like Apple Watch to make sure you're up. And now that I'm dieting, the whole point of training, or the stimulus from the training, is no longer to build muscle. It's to maintain the muscle I have in my frame, as well as strength, so that as I'm, keeping myself in a deficit for about the next 2 months, if I miss another meal until like 4, that doesn't make me extra hungry for that one. I almost get out of like the eating mood, which kind of sucks for me. I'd much rather be hungrier because then I'd have absolute. If I never hit my biceps again starting right now, and I still did triceps and chest and quads and everything on my biceps, the only, body mass that's going to come off me is body fat. And I'm going to try to conserve as much lean tissue underneath as possible. And, what's the point of the cut? I need to try my damnedest to finish these workouts before the sun sets. One, just makes my routine smoother, but also I'm inclined to believe, that's what I freaking call a good back day. That was a good one. Pumped, solid sets. Kind of surprised how energetic I was. Just a straight up pull down. I mean, what else is there to it? Full stack, heavy enough to be heavy, but I'll make sure that's something which could really turn your life around. I'm sure you could think of somebody right now, even me just saying this, someone's probably popping up in your head. Don't forget, I don't just work out for these videos. No fucking chance. If all these videos just disappeared tomorrow, like glitch in the Matrix style, I'm still gonna be lifting the same as. You gotta change the stimulus, right? If you fucking, if you can, what am I thinking here? I keep making like a digging analogy, You can dig through dirt pretty easily with just a shovel. But the real test, the real actually fucking proof of whether what you're doing is working or not is if you're making gains. If you're growing, who cares what anybody else says? Let's change it. I may have underestimated my strength a little bit. Let's go a little heavier on this next one. Oh, goodness. Is that really you in your life? Or are you just kind of playing your part in a system which has already existed before you? By doing something that you enjoy because you enjoy it and doing it for a long period of time, you know, it is pretty fucking uncomfortable. But that's the benefit, you know, that's the cool part. I don't necessarily think the first portion of the set, slow, controlled, squeeze, hold it for a second, right? Everything like fucking to the book, textbook style. And then after like 15, 20 reps like that, which ends up serving as a really good, just nasty pre-exhaustion, I rack it, slap the fucking stack on, and then just, I've got no reason not to get 20 fucking reps. All I gotta do is match it with a badass song and get to business. Even though my quads are warm from leg extensions, I wouldn't just go to my max weight off the rip. That's like going on to fucking 5-plate squats out of nowhere. You know, it's just not wouldn't make sense. But 8 big ones, I can pick a song, you know, because you got to remember, I'm doing a deadlift. You know, all I'm doing is, right, fucking posterior chain out the wazoo. But I'm trying to keep my lower back and my glutes completely relaxed. I guess there's a 5th time, which is never the most prevalent. But number 1, which I think is the best, in the morning. Right? I think, I mean, for me, that's kind of why I do it, but a routine that I like the most, which I can kind of wrap my day around, is cardio in the morning, followed by a lift in the evening. Because if I lift in the evening, you know, I've had enough time to kind of eat my food throughout the day, recover from the cardio itself, be nice and kind of warm and fucking limber, and really get into the weights. Whereas, you know, if I did cardio right after the workout, I feel like I'm kind of cutting into my recovery, you know? Like after this workout, after that last set of chest, I immediately want to go from stressing my fucking pecs to chilling. I want to be totally chill. I'm talking go home, eat some food, drink some whatever, tons of fucking fluids, sleep, right? I'm in recovery mode right now, you know? You can dig through dirt pretty easily with just a shovel, but once you actually hit stone or something, you got to switch your tools. You got to come at it with a different approach, you know, to make sure it's still working. So if you're making considerable gains, you know, come on, don't be limited by your equipment, right? Make little adjustments if necessary. But only 2 plates. I think I might be going overkill trying to do like 3-plate RDLs, at least right now, because if you're making considerable gains, what you're doing is working, go hard, keep going. The real test to, I think, how much progress a lifter is going to make. So, what I mean when I say RDL form is tricky, the form itself is whatever. Bend over, stand up. But to really just do your hamstring squeeze, I haven't done this early in a leg day before, so half of me is just like, I'm kind of curious. But I ended up calling this a Jekyll and Hyde kind of set. It starts out nice. lightweight. I mean, I was just if I've got a day where I'm legitimately fatigued to the point where I think I should probably take a rest day, then I would think, okay, on that day, if I want to make the most, the most gains and contribute towards my long-term progress, then I should do 0 sets. But the benefits and the kind of cool part of a leg day is once you actually finish it, you get a pretty strong I did it, because you know it was hard. When you do something which you know is difficult, and like you're not just saying that, the real test, the real actually fucking proof of whether what you're doing is working or not is if you're making gains. If you're growing, who cares what anybody else says about it? It is pretty fucking uncomfortable. But that's the benefit, that's the cool part. I may I don't necessarily think so what I'm thinking with quads is, it's like, what's really more important? These quads are a very large muscle, and to do a set that's like absolutely diabolical destruction level, like those 5-plate Smith machine squats, like doing sets like that. I mean, I can't do 10 sets. That should be hardwired in your DNA and your fucking genes to say, all right, I got to get my 4,500 calories in. I got to get my 750 grams of carbs in, and 120 grams of fats and 200 grams of protein. So what I mean by that is, like, I have to do that fucking consistently, or else it's going to totally screw up the bulking phase. Is if I get off track, like right now, this is the fucking honeymoon phase. Not really, the stakes are not that high, right? Like if tomorrow I only had 2,000 calories, and then the next day I had back to 4,000, I've got no reason not to get 20 fucking reps. All I gotta do is match it with a badass song and then get to business. Like when I would do a crazy heavy fucking set of like barbell squats as like the first movement of legs, I do that heavy set, and then, but today I do not think that the volume or the intensity or the weight was out of whack in any sort of way. So as far as I'm concerned, that was a good ass lift, even if it was more so of a, let's just call it fatiguing. You're not going to overdo it. And then a pack of instant rice as well, so that's 110 grams of carbs, another like 6-ish grams of fat. I tracked it, but I just can't remember. I want big fucking legs by any means fucking necessary. So let's get out of here. Go get some grout in my system. Oh shit. Oh shit. Any of the boys fans? Any of the boys viewers? Because, what is it, season 4? Today was not the craziest leg pump. And it's not to do so with the fact that it was not a good lift. I think it was a very good lift. But, But then again, I'm not saying this wasn't a productive lift. But I do want to begin to pinpoint, as productive as an approach as possible. Because I want big... I might have to stop wearing these pants. They're not, these ones are not elastic. So it's like, I've got to be careful not to fucking rip them or anything. But there we go. Yeah. So I think that's what you should really be a little bit more focused on. And right now I'm on a little bit of a lighter weight squeezing kind of kick. So I can almost guarantee that's what tomorrow's just I wouldn't want to get too locked into thinking one specific movement is any better than any other. You know, they're just different, right? So if you're a diehard fucking if you're a diehard incline barbell bench fan, if your training is getting a little stale, fuck man, maybe just ask somebody to follow their chest day. Or I guess you could you could just go to the gym and watch someone do a workout. And that was only 2 heavy sets. The rest of them were pretty moderately weighted, just kind of squeeze focused. Oh, but of course, pumped like a, you know, I'm not going to have an awesome, like insanely different chest day if instead of doing all incline Smith and then maybe like cable flies, if instead of doing those 2 movements, I suddenly did 2 sets of incline Smith machine, 2 sets of arsenal press, 2 sets of, you know, hammer strength press, and then cable fly, pec deck fly, machine alternating fly, like, you know. So what I mean by that is it's like, don't feel like you're limited by having to do it, because the more food that you eat, you know, it takes a while to actually adapt to it. So yeah, you're not a don't try to stress about, oh, I gotta eat 10,000 fucking calories a day. No, that's silly. That is beyond necessary unless you're Eddie Hall, Brian Shaw, or forget to record the second set. I just did 3 plates on 25 again. But now let's do some squeezing, kind of cable pressing. Not crazy weight either, but enough where when I hold it for a second, it'll burn. But of course, that's like midday weight. So my actual morning weight tomorrow will probably be a bit closer, like probably 255 or something. But that being the starting weight for this bulking period, for the most part, only. So in just 8 sets, let's see how freaking, well, it's not even a real question. Let's just take a look. So I didn't get my morning weight this morning, but I did get on the scale once I got home from my little drive. 258. But of course, that's like midday weight. So my actual morning weight tomorrow will probably be a bit closer, like probably 255 or something. But that being the starting weight for this bulking period, for the most part, only, I mean, this is now 3 weeks in. Let's just say I am fine with that. So in just 8 sets, let's see how freaking, well, it's not even a real question. Let's just take a look. So I didn't get my morning weight this morning, but I did get on the. There we go. No more of these crazy upload schedules. We just had a little family trip. Sometimes gets let's just say this: it's hard to post a video when you're driving on the highway for a couple of freaking hours. But plan for today: an unimpeded, lightning fast. Oh, maybe not lightning fast, but solid ass chest day. It's 11 o'clock, rather late. I got to get back on my normal schedule of like a 6 p.m. lift, a 4 p.m. lift. That is very nice. That is very nice. That's what I got to get back to. But until then, I'll make good use of the empty gym at my disposal. So plan for chest. You know the drill. Heavy pressing of a few varieties, followed by some flying base movements, and then shit, man, I'll be ready to fucking just check the pump. You know, it really doesn't take too much. Like, if I had to set a bar for the minimum amount of movements I would do for chest day, I would probably say I would definitely prefer at least 2, but I wouldn't need much more than that. You know, I'm not going to have an awesome, like insanely different chest day if instead of doing all incline Smith and then maybe like cable flies, if instead of doing those 2 movements, I suddenly did 2 sets of incline Smith machine, 2 sets of arsenal press, 2 sets of, you know, hammer strength press, and then cable fly, pec deck fly, machine alternating fly, like, you know. So what I mean by that is it's like, Don't feel like you're limited by having to do like, okay, it doesn't want to grow. Nobody, apart from like when you're a kid going through puberty and you're actually fucking just gaining weight because you're reaching full size, your body doesn't want to be like 250 pounds. I'm sure 256, 250 something. Couple pounds closer to that 280 mark, which is not the end goal. You know, the any organism likes a steady amount of food every day, being nice and fed, reasonably active. That's a pretty solid state to be in. So, as these months progress, like right now, this is not a challenge. Don't feel like a fool bringing in a Tupperware container of rice and cut up turkey with hot sauce. That's what you got to do for your fucking gains. The main fucking stimulus of my gaining weight is not the training, it's the fucking food. Like if I've trained for as long as I have, and as hard as I have, or let's say I trained even harder. Let's say my training was even more efficient than it is now for the last 6 years. If I only ate 2,000 calories a day for that whole time, I would never, because I have just gone like 2.5 months eating in a legit deficit. So my appetite has increased, which is kind of the point of me doing this little dieting phase. It's to